Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Atrocious. You could also call me Jake, and today we've got round 5 of the Japan EB01 National Championships, the first tournament of EB01 on the big stage to help decide the World Championship qualifiers coming up here soon in the One Piece trading card game. I'm very excited for this. I think this is the last round before the top cut, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it's very, very close. In this tournament, it's a little bit different than the other ones that we've broadcasted, where they brought in a specific amount of people. I think 29 people in total. They start off with some Swiss rounds and then go into a top 8 cut bracket. So before we get into, I think I recognize this guy from previous tournaments that we've watched, by the way. Anyways, Squirrel, Shiny. Just for full transparency, this stream is not my own content. This is the official live stream that I'm watching and doing my own commentary over, just for commentary practice. No money, advertising, monetization, whatever is going to be put by me on this video. So if you want to watch the official stream, check out the link in the description below. But as we get into this game, it's going to be Katakuri versus Sakazuki. So something that we have seen the last couple formats in the Japanese tournament in OPO5, OPO6, EB01, and now with EB01, maybe some new cards coming in. We've seen new cards on both sides, I think, in previous rounds of this tournament. So if you haven't checked out the full playlist of these games, I will be commentating all of them and putting them in the playlist. Check that out. But looking at the Sakazuki's hand, starting off with a Houndblaze, brand new Rob Lucci, a Gecko Moria, and that starter deck Hina. So not a bad hand overall, especially if you're going second. That's not too bad, because you do have that turn 1 brand new play. And the Katakuri has a 7-drop Big Mom, putting Flampe, a 200 million volts of Maru, and a Peros Pharaoh. So pretty decent hand for both sides, I would think. I don't think you can complain. There could be worse hands that you could get, and it'd be interesting to see how this game goes. It looks like the Katakuri is going first, so I would imagine that the Sakazuki player won the rock, paper, scissors that they did. I love these Trafalgar Law sleeves that this Katakuri player has, especially in combo with the Gear 5 Luffy Dawn sleeves. Looks really, really good. But now moving into the actual match, Katakuri is going to put out their 1 Dawn, and they probably will play the pudding right here, I'd imagine, and they will, putting down that pudding, looking at the top 4, finding a Big Bomb Pirate or a Sanji card. Looks like they found Okiku. The only card I think that they could grab is Amande off of this hand. The Nekomamushi, the Satori, the Okiku, all not Big Mom Pirate cards. So you're fine with the Amande. It's a 2k counter, doesn't really like change probably what you're doing next turn, so you just like the, you know, little counter boosts. And so the Sakazuki playing the brand new first before using leader effect, seeing what they can get. Gonna get a Great Eruption, Houndblaze, and a Helmeppo. So interesting choices going on right now. The Great Eruption, I think, might be a good card that you can get. The Helmeppo could also be nice. You hate seeing Houndblazes go away off of these brand news when you already have a Houndblaze, because typically we don't see players have multiple Houndblazes, but he is going to actually take that Houndblaze right there, saying, you know what, a Houndblaze might be really, really important if a Peros Pharaoh comes down this next turn. So using leader effect on that Hina, going to be drawing a card, and it looks like it looks like it's an Ice Age, I think, in their hand. So going to draw, going to be a You're the One That Should Disappear right there. Going to be a 5k swing starting off for the Katakuri. So has a couple different, actually only has one option for a counter. Is going to be a Sabo. So the Sabo getting tossed away on that one. Probably going to be no more swings. So you're kind of all right with that at this point, and so the Parasparrow is going to come down and pass the turn. So going into the 4-Dawn turn, wouldn't surprise me if we saw on this 4-Dawn a swing of like 5, maybe 6 with the leader minusing the Parasparrow, and then immediately using Houndblaze so it can't use the on KO effect. So going to start off swinging 5 here in this one, and so with Amino Murakuma, that's actually a pretty good card to get as well, because the Amino Murakuma could, on this -1 effect, take away both the pudding and the Parasparrow at once, so might actually be more efficient than Houndblaze. But using leader effect to put away the Houndblaze, as you know, we had 2 of them in hand, going to be grabbing a Rebecca, so going to be very good coming into the next turn, and just going to be playing Rob Lucci, valuing the body a little bit more than the Amino Murakuma, and I do like this play a lot. Just getting rid of the bodies, but again, pushing the board, and even though they get to look at the 3 here, you're just going to take the gamble, and it's only going to be a 7-drop Big Mom, so not a 10-drop. You love seeing no 10 drops on these searches, but repeated 7 drops could provide a little bit of an issue. So the Katakuri now going into the 5-Dawn turn, top stack a Neko Mamushi, so I don't know, maybe you could see an attach 1 swing for 7 and then playing the Neko Mamushi. That might be good. So looking at their own life, I don't know what it is, but they immediately keep it on top. So it's got to be good. It's got to be like an on play or something like that. Or maybe like a 200 million volts Amaru. And so they're going to be letting that one go through. It's going to go into hand, another Houndblaze, and so they are going to play that Neko Mamushi. Neko Mamushi, a very, very good card that we've seen in a lot of yellow lists, and the Sakazuki is going to draw for turn, getting a Borsalino. So OP06 Neko Mamushi, I forget what the actual writing is on the card, but Dawn times 2, this character can also attack your opponent's active characters, so it could be really, really good to be able to pressure if it stays on board. And so this 5k swing right here, going to be minusing 1 the Neko Mamushi, and we'll see if the the Katakuri will counter out of it. If they do counter out of it, it'll probably be the Flampe, but opting to do this card, and it looks like it wasn't a trigger, but another 7-drop Big Mom. So definitely something that you do want to build up in hand, these characters, but a lot of these swings right now are providing a problem. So one thing that they do on this 6k swing and finding another Flampe is you could have used the You're the One That Should Disappear, but opting not to, and instead getting life. Going to be finding the Rebecca and pushing down that Hina to effectively Houndblaze and get rid of that Neko Mamushi. So I think the driver's seat is in the Sakazuki's hands right now as he swings for 6 with the brand new All Dawn used up. So could use the You're the One That Should Disappear, maybe get rid of the one of the Linlins. I don't think you need that many, but the Flampe is what's going to be pitched. Flampe being a new 2k counter in EB01, and just like kind of how I said in the previous video of EB01 in the alternate art tier list that we did, I feel like Flampe is an auto inclusion in this Katakuri deck. I think that's something that you can expect to see all the time in Katakuris after EB01's release. It completely replaces Struzen, in my opinion, with its 2k counter and also the on play effect. So passing the turn now and top decking at 200 million volts Amaru, so having 2 of those in hand is going to be very good, but you got to be able to keep bodies on the board. I feel like at this point you do need to play some bodies, but the only ones that you can do really are the 7-drop Big Moms. And so on your 7-Dawn turn, you can swing 5, right? Where do you swing the 5 though is the question before you play this Big Mom, and it could just be an easy 1k counter out of the Sakazuki's hand if you just swing Bear, but kind of a weird spot for the Katakuri. You're both semi-comfortable, but also uncomfortable, I feel like. So choosing to play the Lin first and having the opponent decide right here, this could decide I just lost my train of thought. Putting the life into the opponent instead of taking one. That might be a little bit telling of their hand. So pretty good insight in that one. Going to be swinging the 5, but depending on where this goes, the sign of giving the opponent life may say that they don't have a ton of counter in hand. So the Katakuri swinging at the leader and going to be getting that Borsalino there. So you love seeing a blocker go away, because then that means your 200 million volts of Mario is going to be more powerful when you're at 1 life remaining. And so Sakazuki now at the 8 Dawn turn, got a couple different options in here with the Great Eruption. Not a lot of options to be able to get characters on field, but that's okay because you kind of have a full board established. You have sort of a Howlblaze target in the brand new to be able to swing, so everyone on your board really has value at this point. So going to be starting off swinging 5 at lead, going to try to be catching a card out of this hand, so it's either flop pay, you're the one that should disappear, or taking a life off of this. So we'll be seeing the life. This is a life that we don't know about. It's going to be an Okiku. The Okiku is a great card to get through that trigger, being able to be played on your field because your opponent is at 3 life or less, and especially against dual color leaders that start off with 4 life, Okiku is a great inclusion in yellow decks to find off of triggers. So that actually applies a lot of great pressure on here. Really helps out the Katakuri to find that trigger off of the additional life from the 7-drop Big Mom, because this puts a lot more pressure on now at this point, especially with the 200 million volts of Marus that you're holding in hand. So gotta really reroute your thinking now if you're the Sakazuki. I think at this point you really have to think about what you value more. Do you value getting rid of more the Big Mom or the Okiku? But with Ice Age, you might be able to get rid of both, right? The Ice Age would -5 to the Charlotte Linlin, putting it at 2. The swing from Sakazuki minusing the Okiku, putting it at 3. And then the Great Eruption going down the Okiku to 1 overall. You could use Amino Murakuma to avoid the on-KO effect of the Okiku, and then also just getting rid of both characters and clearing the field. So could be a really, really strong turn for the Sakazuki. But this life right here is potentially a trigger. So what do you go with overall? There's a couple different options of what it could be. I think it's probably one of the discard a card from hand and play this character kind of triggers, because they're looking at their hand. It seems like they're thinking about what they want to discard potentially, and looking at the hand, what do you discard, right? The you're the one that should disappear is a great counter card because you have literally almost no other counter in hand. You really value those 200 million volts of Maru. The 7-drop moms are really, really good. They're saying that it potentially might be Satori. So I think you're thinking like, can I put this Satori down right? Would it continue to apply this pressure that I want to provide, or is it more valuable as a 2K counter in hand? In my opinion, and also this is the perspective that we know exactly what's in the Sakazuki's hand, so it's a little bit skewed in a sense. I actually value playing the Satori overall, because especially with the minusing on the Okiku, if the Sakazuki opted to minus the Okiku, I think that's pretty telling that you could lose both of the characters in this turn, because if not, that would go there. And so it's actually going to be a 200 million volts of Maru pitching a 200 million volts of Maru and a Charlotte Linlin 7-drop to effectively gain a life. So I mean, it kind of sucks as the Sakazuki player, but it's not the worst thing in the world as you now swing for 6, because effectively you got 2 cards out of their hand, right? Yes, they didn't get to do the life, but you got 2 cards out, and so that swing there is going to get a Gadatsu. Gadatsu could be good in this one because there's a couple things at 5 life right now. Going to start off with the Great Eruption to draw a card, continue to look at the options, and going to minus the Okiku. So the Okiku, I believe, now is at 1 cost overall. And again, like I said with the Ice Age and the Amino Murakuma, you could get both of these characters off the field. So using leader effect and finding Gecko Moria, I believe, pitching 1 and finding another, going to be attaching 4 with the brand new and swinging the 7 at life now. So this is good. You could get that swing out of the way, and then the rest of your 3 Dawn that you have left is your Ice Age and your Amino Murakuma. So I think they're asking about what the cost is of each character at this point. So with the 7, I think this might be a decent time to You're the One That Should Disappear Away Gadatsu to go up to 8. You just have to pitch those 2 cards right there, and they will. Going to get out of that swing, and so going to be resting 1 for the Ice Age, going to be at that Big Mom, and then using 2 for the Amino Murakuma, getting rid of both of the characters. So again, really strong board state right now for the Sakazuki, continuing to just really control what's going on. And so with that top deck, I think the 7-drop is on the way for our Katakuri player. I think they got the Perosphero off of the top deck, so not something that you'll really use at this point, but the 7-drop mom is going to say, all right, which one would you like to do? And honestly, as a Sakazuki, I might actually take this life. I don't know if I want to give another life to the Katakuri at this point. Looking at the hand, you don't have a ton of things to be able to minus the Linlin to get it off the field. If you do 8-drop the Gecko Moria, I don't know if you have a Hina. I don't know if you have a Hina in there to be able to minus 4 on the Linlin. So going to be opting to giving the Katakuri player life. They will swing 8 and keep that card at the top of their life. Another really quick stay at that point. Oh, it looks like they were thinking. We don't know exactly what that card is, but thinking about how it can combo well with their hand, whether they'd like it on the top or bottom, because I think I'd imagine that you're probably thinking about how that life can correlate with the new EB01 inclusion that I was talking about, Flampe, because the Flampe being a card that manipulates your life. As I quickly pull this up, on play you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. So putting it at the bottom, probably going to use the Flampe actually to get that card. I feel like if you left it at the top, it would be in position to go into your hand through a leader swing. So in this upcoming turn, so that kind of secures it in that one. The 8k attack is going to be blocked by the Rebecca, and top decking a 7-drop Borsalino. So the 7-drop Borsalino, I don't know, could come down in this one. I think the 8-drop is probably more likely, and pitching 1 to draw a card, you do have another one in hand at this point, and it's going to be a T-Bone. So T-Bone, a 2k counter, could be good, but starting off swinging that 5 at the leader, and so they're going to take that. This is a life that I don't think we know about, and it potentially has a trigger, as most of these yellow cards in Katakuri do. And so asking what is in their trash, this will be good for us too to kind of learn. So they could play a Rebecca, but not a great 2 option, like a 2 or less option for the Gecko Moria. So I'm interested to see where this goes. And so going to be taking that one. It's a Capone. So they decided to put the Capone Beige in hand instead of stopping a swing from something like the Rob Lucci leader or Branu. Very interesting tactic overall. I don't know. I think there's a point to think about putting the Capone Beige on the leader to try to maybe quote unquote prevent the leader swing and using that attack to minus the Linlin. I think that's something that you can think of right there, but countering out of that Sakazuki for the Capone Beige counter, I would love to know your opinion in the comments if you if you would have done that. But anyways, continuing on, Branu is going to be swinging 5. It's going to take that life. It's going to be a 10 Linlin. So finally seeing the 10 Linlin. This may be the time to play it if this 7 drop stays in the game. And again, I don't think there's a way for the Gecko Moria to be able to get rid of this Linlin in this game. So the best case scenario really is using the Gecko Moria to grab Borsalino as the active, and maybe getting, I don't even know if you can grab anything off the 2? They're opting for the Rebecca above all else, and that Rebecca is going to grab a Sabo, put the Sabo in hand. Going to be a 1k counter and could be really good going into the next turn. So not opting to swing with the Rob Lucci right there. Going to be at all 10 Dawn now. Top decking. What did they top deck? It's going to be a reject. I actually learned from the comments. Thank you so much to the commenters to letting me know that this card is actually labeled as reject and not impact. Shout out to Batsu for putting reject in the files for OP06 and OPTCG sim. But anyways, reject could be a card that maybe gets played this turn. I don't know if you do anything other than 10 drop Big Mom at this point, right? 10 drop Big Mom could be nice. You can potentially get rid of one of these 2 characters that swing, but maybe the thing is with the Rob Lucci not swinging with it is you didn't want it to get beat up by the Big Mom. You'd rather have either the Branu or the Hina get taken out by the Big Mom, because the Gecko Moira is just a good card. Well, actually, no, that doesn't matter. Forget that statement. But thinking about what they could do on here, what is the best route? The thing about the Linlin, though, the 10 drop Linlin is, sure, you get another life, right? You go to 2 life at that point, and your opponent goes down 1. But then you have to swing at the board, right? So swing in the 5 at somewhere. I think it may be at life. It's going to be a T-bone. So the T-bone 2k counter comes in right here. And so really effectively, you're going to have to face off against 4 swinging characters at this point. 3, or a combination of 4 swinging characters and life. So thinking about what the best option would be in this one, I'm in the boat for 10 drop Big Mom, to be honest. I think 10 drop Big Mom is probably your best bet at this point, even though it could provide a little bit of troubles. And so swinging in and taking out the Rebecca on the block is going to push down that Big Mom, and so putting away a Suru, a 2k, is not really going to help you in trying to go for lethal at this point. I think this Sakazuki is looking at lethal now, and it's going to be another Suru in their hand to see what's going on. And so attaching 1 to the Lucci and swinging 7 at life. They do have, or they don't have a You're the One That Should Disappear. So going to be taking that life. It's going to be another 10. The 10 is not going to help you countering out of this. Swinging 9 now with the dude, and so a 2k counter comes off of that. A 15 is going to come in with the Sakazuki, and the Sakazuki player is going to go 4-1. I think this is the end of the Swiss rounds, and so I think this was kind of the winning in game to get into top 8. So Sakazuki advances in with 4-1. Let's see if they provide. There's a lot of reveals going on for the OP07. I'm sure you may have seen that on Twitter. And I think, yes, the top 8 bracket is next. Let's see potentially if they tell us. Oh, wait, no. Yeah. The decks are here. So the top 8 bracket is going to be Yamato, Katakuri. That's going to be one of the games. Anel Sakazuki is another set of games. Sakazuki versus Sakazuki mirror match, and then Zoro versus Uta over here in this top 8 match. So I don't know what game they're going to showcase next, but I hope it's this Zoro versus Uta. I think that could be a cool one and unique one that we haven't seen yet. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. Let me know in the comments what you want to be in the next game, and I hope to see you in the next video. Remember, there is that playlist that is going on that will be showing every single game in this tournament, I promise. So make sure to check that out and don't miss a beat, so then you can get everything you need to know off of the EB01 Japan Nationals. And yeah, I'll see you later.